To complete the most significant news for this day, Why News continues. Here are the top stories. Several major dams have been compelled to release water to prevent damage and overspilling as heavy rains batter most of Luzon. Magat Dam in Isabela still has one open gate with an opening of 2 meters to release water that might flood surrounding towns such as Ramon, San Mateo, Luna, and Aurora. The dams of Ambuklao, Binga, and San Roque are also releasing water and may affect the towns of San Nicolas, San Manuel, and Masingan, as well as Tayug, Santa Maria, Villasis, Bautista, Rosales, Bayambang, and San Manuel in Pangasinan. Other dams being monitored by the agency include Pantabangan Dam in Nueva Ecija and Caliraya Dam in Laguna.
So ang San Roque nagpapakawala din ng 4 gates, 5 meters ang open, pero controlled to, hindi umaapaw sa kanyang kailugan dito sa Pangasinan.
Meanwhile, the Department of Public Works and Highways revealed that none of the projects under its flood management master plan for Metro Manila and nearby provinces has been completed since 2012. At a Senate assessment, the DPWH reports that of the 353 billion peso initiative, only 14% has been implemented, though it noted it still has a lot of time to complete the projects as the master plan runs until 2035. The flood control plan includes 11 large-scale infrastructure projects such as the Pasig-Marikina River Improvement and Dam Construction, which costs about 200 billion pesos. The agency sees the slow implementation of flood control projects as the reason for widespread flooding in Metro Manila and other parts of the country. DPWH also admits having difficulty in imposing some of the projects.
Sa ngayon kasi ang hirap po ngayon gumawa ng mga drainage sa Metro Manila dahil sa traffic. Marami hong naabala.
Ang solution siguro coordination o cooperation ng LGU at right implementation of projects. Kailangan serious implementation, seryoso.
In other news, the Department of Trade and Industry, or DTI, has yet to decide on whether to impose price hike moratorium on basic goods despite requests from manufacturers. The DTI recently released an expanded suggested retail price with several adjustments on the price of canned meat products, taking into consideration the release in production cost. This prompted consumer groups to suggest a moratorium on price hikes in basic commodities. Though the agency welcomes the suggestion, decision would still depend on the manufacturers. DTI also asked the Department of Agriculture to update its SRP on agriculture products for the benefit of the consumers.
Tingnan natin kung paano natin mapapakiusapan ang manufacturers, ang mga negosyo ng canned products, especially yung BNPCs ng DTI. But tingnan natin, we hope that they will cooperate.
Former Tourism Secretary Wanda Thio and her brothers Ben and Erwin Tulfo insist that there is nothing illegal in the advertisement placement deal with the government broadcast network, PTV. JL Asayo tells us why.
Former Tourism Chief Wanda Tulfo Thio and her brothers Ben and Erwin Tulfo denied allegations that the 60 million peso DOT advertisement placement in a show hosted by Tulfo brothers was anomalous. Facing the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee, Thio maintains her innocence, claiming she was maligned and defamed by allegations of corruption and incompetence. Thio stresses that the DOT's ad placement with Government Broadcast Network PTV went through proper process. She also narrated during the hearing how Presidential Communications Secretary Martin Andanar sent her a letter in January 2017 asking her to partner with the DOT on marketing Philippine tourism through PTV. To formalize the partnership, PTV President and General Manager Dino Antonio Apolonio sent a proposal to Thio's office last February 6. The Bids and Awards Committee reviewed and approved the proposal the following day.
A certification was issued by PTV4 on March 4, 2017 that certified People Television Network Incorporated has the mandate to deliver the goods and services required to be procured and undertake the infrastructure project or consultancy required by DOT, among others.
But Committee Chairman Senator Richard Gordon questioned Theo's decision, saying she should have chosen a network in a program with high rating to place an ad. Gordon cited his experience in such as he formerly served as Tourism Secretary.
Bibigyan nyo pa sa black timer, kaya nyo palang kumuha ng kontrata sa PTV, sa DOT, sana napunta na lahat sa pangangailangan ng Channel 4.
Senators also learned during the hearing that the total amount of money involved in the questionable ad deal is around 140 million pesos. Over 70 million pesos of this went to Bitag Media Unlimited, owned by Ben Tulfo. 20 million went to PTV4, and the remaining 19 million went to tax and other payments. The hearing also tackled the possible conspiracy between the PTV and Bitag Media, as well as the conflict of interest because Thio approved the contract of the deal that was placed on her brother's program. A heated exchange also ensued between Senator Antonio Trillanes and Erwin Tulfo after the former insisted of Erwin's involvement in the ad by Mes being Ben's sibling.
Hindi ko kasi kami mahilig gumawa-gawa ng mga kwento, Mr. Chair.
Ay, nako. Alam nyo,
mahirap po yung gumagawa-gawa ng
alam nyo
kwento.
dun sa radio program ninyo,
Mr. Chair, di ba?
alam nyo dun sa radio program ninyo. Again, I admonish everyone here.
The issue stemmed from the Commission on Audit's 2017 report questioning the deal over lack of proper documents.
So, kami raw na bayaran PTV pero hinahanap yung kontrata at yung certificate of performance. Meron po kami niyan.
Tulfo also stood by his earlier decision not to return the money they got out of the deal, taking into consideration the advice of Bitag Media lawyers. But Senator Gordon says that even if the Tulfos return the money, someone should still held be liable over the ad placement fiasco.
Liability on the part of Wanda Tulfo, on the part of PTV4, on the part of all the other people, pero it goes down as it goes down.
Senator Gordon no longer plans to conduct more hearings on the issue and plans to release the committee report and recommendations in the following weeks. However, Thio still needs to face probe on the issue of duty-free shopping spree, while former Promotions Board COO Cesar Montano will also face questioning over the Buhay Karinderya issue. JL Asayo, UNTV News and Rescue, Senate of the Philippines.
Customs Commissioner Isidro La Peña contradicts the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency regarding reports on magnetic lifters allegedly found containing shabu in a warehouse in General Mariano Alvarez in Cavite. During a hearing at the lower house earlier, La Peña said the 4 magnetic lifters did not bear any traces of dangerous drugs, contrary to the claim of PDEA Chief Aaron Aquino. Aquino has earlier told media that a ton of shabu worth 6 billion pesos could have already made its way to the streets after they failed to seize the illegal substance.
The allegation that 1 ton of shabu is circulating in the market has no basis, Your Honor. Based on the result of the laboratory analysis, both from PDEA and the PNP, 4 magnetic lifters have no presence of dangerous drugs as government authorities. We have to be prudent in providing unverified information to the general public.
But PDEA stood by its report that the metallic lifters found in Cavite were linked to the 500 kilograms of shabu found in 2 metallic lifters seized at the Manila port, citing the same address stated in the bill of lading. BOC and PDEA is set to conduct a case conference on the said matter. Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello III announced a good news on regularization during his interview with the program Get It Straight with Daniel Razon earlier. Bello said the Employers Confederation of the Philippines signified their support to President Rodrigo Duterte's campaign to end the illegal contractualization scheme in the country. Secretary Bello said the group of employers in the country vowed to regularize 300,000 contractual employees within the year. To make it happen, ECOP promised to ink an agreement with the Department of Labor and Employment before the year ends.
Within this year, they will regularize about 300,000 contractuals.
Okay.
Sabi ko, pag ginawa nyo yan, I will give you meron kayong labor holiday ako.
Okay.
In other words, hindi ko kayo bibisitahin ng mga inspectors ko. But just give me yung 300,000
na irregular ninyo.
Irregular nyo.
And for the news abroad, here's Kath Dumaraos from Bangkok, Thailand, live. Good evening, Kath.
Good evening, William. Several people were injured after a car crashed into security barriers outside the Houses of Parliament. Officers were seen surrounding the vehicle before a man was arrested. Reports say cyclists were hit, but police do not believe anybody is in a life-threatening condition. Scotland Yard cannot say if the incident is related to terrorism at this stage, but a number of eyewitnesses have said the car appeared to deliberately hit members of the public. Westminster Tube Station is closed, and streets around Millbank Parliament Square and Victoria Tower Gardens have been cordoned off. Tourists are swarming shops in Turkey following the plunge of its currency lira. Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan also calls on Turks to sell their dollars amid the crisis. Jovic Burmas tells us why.
Tourists flocked to the shops in Turkey on Monday, their purchasing power buoyed by currency crisis, going on shopping sprees as the lira hit a new record low of 7.24 to the dollar on Monday. People mainly from Arab countries swarmed the streets of Nişantaşı, an upscale neighborhood in Istanbul. Lines of tourists waiting to take advantage of the drop in the currency snaked outside Chanel and Louis Vuitton stores, barely moving.
The prices are very cheap compared to our country in Kuwait.
Like many of her fellow shoppers, Ali had brought out suitcases to fill with the increasingly cheaper clothes and products. One employee at an upscale clothing store who declined to share his name said that this amount of shoppers was unusual even in high season and believes it is because of the fall in currency.
I'm sad that the lira has fallen. I'm sad for Turkey. But God willing, there will be days in the future where it goes up and the situation gets better.
The Turkish lira has lost more than 40% against the dollar this year, largely over worries about President Tayyip Erdogan's influence over the economy, his repeated calls for lower interest rates, and worsening ties with the United States. On Friday, that relentless slide turned into a crash. The lira dropped as much as 18%, hitting US and European stocks as investors took fright over banks' exposure to Turkey. Erdogan has also urged Turks to extend their hospitality to tourists as they brought dollars into the country at a critical time. Casting the lira weakness a plot, Erdogan has repeatedly called on Turks to sell their dollars to shore up the lira. Jovic Burmas, UNTV News and Rescue, Europe.
3 people died and 6 others were wounded after they were crushed by a heavy signboard in China. Meanwhile, more than 200 people were injured at a seaside musical festival in Spain. Beverly Saison tells us why.
In China, a signboard that fell from a shop in downtown Shanghai killed 3 people and injured 6 others on Sunday. Security camera footage shows the signboard suddenly came off, hitting 9 people passing by. The fallen signboard was so heavy that it took 16 people to lift it. Altogether, 9 people were crushed under, with 3 dead on the spot and 6 others injured to varying degrees, but without life-threatening danger. The local Safety Supervision Department has started investigation into the case. In Spain, hundreds of people were hurt, 5 seriously, when a wooden platform collapsed at a seaside music festival in northwestern Spain on Sunday night. There were no reports of any fatalities from the incident, which left 266 people injured. According to Vigo's Mayor Abel Caballero, the platform that collapsed just before midnight was 30 meters long and 10 meters wide. People at the concert said the people were jumping up and down. When the concert began, then they heard a creak and the boardwalk collapsed. And in Greece, videos released on social media on Sunday showed raging wildfires fanned by strong winds on the Greek island of Evia, where 2 other villages have been evacuated. The fire brigade described the evacuation on central Evia, about 70 kilometers from Athens, as a precaution. A wildfire near the capital in July killed 94 people, the country's worst such disaster, prompting the Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras to replace the Civil Protection Minister and the heads of fire brigade and police. Tsipras announced the demolition of thousands of illegal buildings in response to the deaths of dozens of people who were unable to escape a maze of poorly planned streets. Beverly Saison, UNTV News and Rescue.
And those are the news from the other parts of the globe. Back to you, William.
Thank you very much, Kath Dumaraos, live from Bangkok, Thailand. Hundreds of twins and triplets, including their parents, gather at a square in Ukraine. Let's find out why from Robbie de Guzman.
Visitors at a Kiev charity fair say they saw double or even triple as 200 sets of twins and triplets gathered on Saturday to celebrate siblinghood and break a new Ukrainian national record. One could barely find a room at a square full of tandem prams with babies clad identically as parents patiently queued to register whom they call their double happiness for the record.
And difficulties are double.
They have different characters and therefore they behave differently. And the situation when one likes the toy and they start fighting for it is a regular one.
Boys and girls of all ages, with the youngest pair being just a few months old, beat the 2017 record of 100 sets of multiples who converged at the same location simultaneously.
It sometimes happens that one of us doesn't like the food and the other one likes it. That's the only difference.
Well, I hope this record will somehow influence views of people who refuse to have children. They will see twins and triplets and that parents cope with them. The more children, the better. And we have what to live for.
With the majority of twins at the event, 10 groups of triplets were also present, which set another Ukrainian national record.
Means that there are more and more positive events happening in Ukraine and that Ukraine supports world's trend as more and more twins and triplets are born every year due to objective medical reasons and subjective family reasons.
World Guinness record of the largest gathering of multiples was registered in 1999 in Taiwan when 4,002 sets gathered on the square of Taipei City Hall. Robbie de Guzman, UNTV News and Rescue.
And those are the reasons behind the news, August 14, 2018. On behalf of Rheena, Villamor-Camara, and Angelo, Castro III, I am William Thio, because we need to know, we will always ask why. Good evening.